Hey guys, this is Kara from Create Your Balance with Literacy. I'm going to share with you my back to school K through 2 checklists for your classroom, and I'm going to go through all the different kinds of checklists that I have put together. This resource includes checklists for classroom organization and setup, readers workshop, writers workshop, math workshop, science, social studies, behavior management, meet the teacher and parent night, and my literacy centers. Now, some of these checklists have a YouTube video to go along with it, so you can see what my classroom looks like using these materials and supplies. And some of these checklists have a podcast that goes along with the checklist, so you can hear how I use it in my classroom. So this all goes to the Empowering Connection Back to School Bootcamp. So if you love these checklists and you want to know how to use them, you can check out my Back to School Bootcamp, and there's a link right here you can click on to check it out, and it's going to be from July 7th through 11th, and I cannot wait for you to check out this bootcamp. There are 9 different modules that you can sign up for, and all of these checklists are all connected with each module. So there's a classroom organization and setup module. There's a readers workshop module. These are the first 10 days of readers workshop, the first 10 days of writers workshop, the first 10 days of math workshop, the first 10 days of science, first 10 days of social studies, building relationships with students and parents, which is behavior management, and then how I incorporate my meet the teacher night and parent night, and how I launch my literacy centers from day 1. So I'm going to go through the checklist with you really quickly so you can see what it entails. Here is the back to school checklist for the classroom setup and organization. And I have put all the supplies that I use for my classroom, such as desks and tables, carpets, flexible seating, storage bins, pencil pails, crates, binders, my doorbell, my carousel caddy, my anchor charts, and then different things I use for the wall, like my calendar, my sound wall, my learning objective wall. And then the second page is such as my easel, my big book stand, my shelves for centers, different kinds of notebooks that I use. And then here's the video that gets you a tour of my classroom to see how I set it up and organize it. The second checklist is all about writers workshop. Here's a video that shows you what my class looks like and sounds like whenever they're doing a writers workshop. And then here's all the supplies and materials that I use for writers workshop, such as a writer's notebook, anchor charts, mentor texts, banker's box, carousel caddy, publishing wall, magnetic pouches, and so on. So you can check that out in the video. Here's my checklist for my readers workshop. And here's a video that talks all about my schema notebook. My schema notebook is my reader's notebook. So you can see in the video, the students are doing an interactive notebook activity for my reader's workshop. So I'm going to show you about that. So all of the checklist has all the materials and supplies for reader's workshop, plus my teacher table, plus my small group reading area, and what I use for my phonics, my decodable readers, and guided reading, small reading groups. The third checklist is my math workshop. Here is a video that shows you how I do my math workshop transitions and how I have my different stations for math, and all of the materials and supplies I use for math notebook, anchor charts, interactive notebooks, toolboxes, what I put in the toolboxes, my fact fluency templates, and so on. And the fourth checklist is all about science, the first 10 days of science, what you're going to be needing, science notebook, anchor charts, how I set up my theme center. And then this video, it talks about my Fahrenheit Friday and how I do my science investigations and experiments. So you can check that out. Back to school checklist for social studies. You can check out my theme center and how I teach cross-curricular using my theme center and all those different supplies I use for social studies here. Here is a literacy center checklist. You can check out the video of how I use my center checklist and rotation chart. And then it shows you my first graders at their centers and what they do at each center. And here's a list of all my centers that I have in my first grade classroom. Okay, so then we have Meet the Teacher Night and Parent Night. So I have 2 different ones. So you can check out my podcast episode of my Meet the Teacher Night. I have some tips and tricks for you for that. And then I have a list of all the different things for Meet the Teacher that I use and all the different things for Parent Night and Open House that I use. And then the last one is behavior management. This is probably the most important one. Here is a video of how I do my dismissal procedures in my first grade classroom. This is called Pack and Stack, so you can see how I use my class jobs. And so I use an economy system called bonus bucks in my first grade classroom. So I'm going to, most of these things are with bonus bucks and a classroom economy, and then also with Star Student and how I utilize a peer facilitator and a Star Student in my first grade classroom. So this is one of the bonuses that you are going to get when you register for my back to school boot camp. And I cannot wait for you to streamline your classroom and so it has less stress and no mess. And let me know if you have any questions. I'm so excited for you to join my boot camp. See you soon.